Welcome to episode 32 of New Indian Woman podcast, airing in late December 2020, and I'm your host Krishna. In today's episode, we will talk about something that concerns all of us and the women around us, and that is about a very important body part, our breasts. Especially in the last 20 years or so, we don't hear this word breast by itself. There is always a twin word associated with it. No, it is not breast care, breast health, but breast cancer. Today we will talk to Dr. Geeta Manjunath to learn about this topic and also why we should learn. Dr. Geeta is the founder, CEO, and CTO, which is the Chief Technology Officer of Niramai. We will know more about Niramai a little later. She has over 25 years of experience in IT research and has led to many innovative projects in healthcare and transportation. She holds a PhD in computer science from Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore, and management education from Kellogg School of Management, Chicago. She has won many international and national recognition for her innovations and entrepreneurial work. So, welcome, Dr. Geeta.
Thank you, Krishna, for featuring us on this show.
We are going to focus a lot on the awareness aspects. I am a layman here and you are an expert. So maybe we will have to meet somewhere in between. Okay. Let me start with why we should learn more about our breasts and what made you come to this area.
Yeah, actually, breast is just yet another body part, but it is one of the reasons why 600,000 women are dying every year because of breast cancer. It's one of the largest cancer killers in women today. Out of all the cancers, 25% of the cancers is just breast cancer in women. It's very pathetic. It's okay to get breast cancer, but the problem is the mortality rates, the number of women who are dying because of breast cancer is a huge number, despite the cancer being the most curable cancer.
So there is a contradiction, right?
It's definitely a contradiction. Yeah, it's most curable, but still so many women are dying. That is the problem. And why? Why are so many women dying? Because of late detection, lack of awareness, particularly.
Oh, okay.
So that is why it's very, very important for all of us to talk about this and understand and educate ourselves as to what is breast cancer, when should I go to a doctor, and how can I do an early detection.
Right.
If the lady is able to detect any such abnormality early, 95% of the people getting breast cancer can live, as opposed to 50% of the people today. In India, that's what it is, 50% survival rate. So the idea is really to save so many women.
Let me rephrase it. So what you're saying is 50% of the people who detect breast cancer, they are dying because they're detecting late. So if they detect early, you are saying 95% of them can survive.
Yes.
So I do not think there has been any instance where awareness can be quantified or lack of awareness can be quantified in absolute numbers like this.
You're absolutely right. That is the reason why shows such as this is very, very helpful, because all we need to do is educate them.
Okay.
And hopefully we will talk about this today.
Yes.
In more detail.
And I'm very curious, in your experience of all the research, etc., that you did, why is this that you focused on breast cancer as an area of focus right from the start? Or is there something which made you move towards that direction?
Yeah, actually, I'm a computer scientist by qualification, as you just recently introduced. I was a lab director at a multinational company, doing well with a large team, guiding them and so on. Around that time, one of my cousin sisters, Bharti, got detected with breast cancer.
Okay.
She was very close to me. We were more friends than cousins, and she was around 40 at that time. So it was very shocking because the doctor said it's really stage 4 or stage 5 and a few more months to go. And obviously she lost her breast and so on for the surgery. So with all this, I was just trying to recover from this, and within 2 years she got a recurrence of that. That is, breast cancer came back, and this time she could not tolerate, and we lost her. So this got me really, really thinking. And during this time, my husband's cousin also got detected with breast cancer.
Oh my God.
And it was crazy, right? One after the other, within a year's time frame, I heard both these episodes. And, I said, what can I do? What is the use of us working on so much of technology, solving some problems in the US, solving problems for, Europe and all that? When we have such a big problem right here next to us, especially for Indian women,
right,
where 50% of them are dying. So that is when, I discussed with my teams and management, and then started a small project to research out this, mostly like an extra project, exploratory project, and trying to see what we can do. And after about 1 year of doing these night outs and so on, because I had other jobs to do in the mornings. And then I said, no, this requires attention, and I quit my job and started this company called Niramai.
Okay. So indeed, very sad to hear that, these kind of events in your personal life were a trigger. But at the same time, I would like to acknowledge and appreciate that you used it as a trigger, used it positively to do something in that area. That's great.
Thank you.
These numbers that you are sharing are so obvious numbers, which means each one of us, it's like we have a duty to ourselves to be aware and to check for this, right? So that the breast cancer doesn't catch us by surprise.
Absolutely.
But at the same time, as you tell this, the doubt that comes in my mind is, in the past maybe 15, 20 years or so, any magazine worth its name, it has published articles about the need to self-examine. And if it is a women's magazine, they will carry sketches of how to do self-examination of breast. I have tried it myself, and I'm not sure, it only confuses me because like many other things in our life, our breasts do not look or feel the same throughout. I'm saying even in the course of a few months, whether it is periods, whether it is pregnancy, delayed periods, whatever it is, we find our own reasons as to why sometimes our breast is hard, sometimes it is soft, sometimes, there is a heaviness, whatever. And we feel, oh, this is not a lump. Okay. So somewhere the self-examination is a little touchy topic for me. But what I'm trying to say is these magazines, through these self-examination kind of sketches and articles about them, there has been some attempts at increasing awareness. So why do you think these self-checks are crucial? Are they, these self-checks, do they work? Or even when these, over the last 15, 20 years, these kind of sketches, when it came in magazines, are we saying people are still not able to detect and go early? Where is the gap?
Yeah. So I think these kind of, guidelines have to come over and over again. Somebody sort of, if they published 15 years ago, a new girl who's just sort of completed her, let's say 18 years, just become an adult, hasn't seen that, right? So it has to be part of, let's say health education, women's health education in school, whatever, right? So it has to be part of the lifestyle, right? So that is one element of it. As you said, right, self-examination is also sometimes subjective, right? Because I have had people come to me saying, "Oh, it looks like a hard lump and all that," but it will be just a chest bone that they're looking at. So people get very worried, and also even if they find some hard stuff, they're so scared or a little bit shy, or even almost like a taboo thing, that they don't even come and tell others. So all of these have to be changed. So I suggest two things generally for women. One is regular self-breast examination once a month, and I'll talk a little bit more about what that means.
Yeah.
Once a month self-breast examination, and once a year breast health test, which is more objective, something that like somebody can use a glucose meter to measure the sugar levels in the blood, right? Some number, right? So that kind of an objective number, say, let's say my sugar is 120, then I know it's little on the higher side. I stop taking sugar. So I'm controlling my health myself, right? And
Correct.
then, of course, after some time, maybe I'll just have sugarless coffee. That's fine. And I am at 100. I'm fine with it. Right?
So, because the self examination is a question of feeling, so how much ever somebody teaches me, it is a question of my own assessment where I can go wrong. But if there is a test done, there is a very clear output from the test, is what you're saying.
Correct. That is exactly one of the main advantages. Second one is a self-breast examination, and let me say what are those, right?
Yeah.
Basically, the lady has to stand in front of the mirror. Like I said, once every month, you can choose, let's say, fifth day after menstruation cycle stops, after your periods have stopped, as in like after your periods, 5 days. Or if you are post-menopause, you can choose any day, like 10th of every month, whatever, right? You can choose a particular day. And then you stand in front of the mirror and observe your breast in terms of the size and so on. Mostly one of the breasts is bigger than the other. That's normal. But if you observe over time, you will know if there's any change, such as bulging on one side or something like an infection. If it is there, you will be able to detect. Second thing is to use your hands, so fingers, to run on the breast slightly, lightly, and look for lumps. What are lumps? Lumps are like you touch the middle of your nose, right? So that kind of a thing, little hard, or maybe like lemon seed, that hard, right? And when you have complete soft tissue, and if you find something like that hard, you may want to observe it like every day a little bit. And then if you find that again next day, then maybe you want to just show it to a gynecologist. That will be better, right?
When you say lumps, you may want to clarify this as we are not talking about something which can be seen, but something which can be felt, correct? Or are you talking about both?
No, what I'm talking about is felt, as you said, right?
Yeah.
So when I move my hand on the soft breast tissue, I suddenly see feel a lemon seed. Then lemon seed kind of hardness. Then maybe you want to observe it 1 or 2 days more, and if it is still there, you could basically go to a gynecologist.
Right.
The third piece is the seeing part. The seeing part is the size, and also the third one is also seeing, which is any kind of scaling on the breast. Scaling means like rashes or a skin issue, something like that, right?
Right.
So, like a rough skin. Suddenly you start seeing somewhere. So maybe you want to take a look at it and then show it to the gynecologist. Right. The fourth one, very, very important, is to check your nipple, right? So the center of the breast, where sometimes there will be a discharge. The discharge, obviously, when you're feeding baby, that's different. That's milk that comes out. The discharge will be colorless or like blood or pus, yellow, colorless or red. If anything like that is coming out, one breast or both the breasts, you can actually observe 1 more day if you like to make sure that is the thing, or you'll start seeing sort of wetness in your inner wares or whatever. So that is definitely a time when you have to come to your doctor, right?
Okay.
So these are some of the things that you can do every month.
So when you said these are some things that you can tell your doctor, so here I have a question. If you were talking about when somebody is in their late 30s or early 40s, maybe it is most likely that they have finished the pregnancy part of it. I'm saying most usually. So who is this doctor that we are referring to? They may not have a gynec. And there may be a family doctor, so to speak, or the person to whom we will go to for regular fever and for whatever. So you may not be comfortable showing, especially if that doctor is a guy. So whom do you suggest they go to when they feel maybe there is something I have to show?
Yeah, they can go to any physician. Actually, every doctor will know about the breast symptoms. These are symptoms, basically, right? So every doctor will know about it.
But you would still advise, even if they do not have a regular gynec kind of a contact, they don't have to wait. The important thing is to go to a doctor at the earliest.
they can go to the doctor, especially if it's a discharge. Lump, they can wait for a couple of days. And again, I'm not saying if any of you have these symptoms, it's cancer. No, it's just one of the signs of breast
Right.
cancer. Many times, almost 60% of the cases, a lump is not at all cancerous. It is just a bunch of tissues sticking together, right?
Right.
So we don't have to be worried about it. But to be safe, to be on the safer side, you have to go to a physician, female doctor if you prefer. Most of us prefer that, or generally a gynec. If you have a small hospital or a nursing home nearby, they will definitely have a gynecology or an OBG, wing or division. So you can just go and meet any female doctor or male doctor is also fine, right?
Okay.
So telling about this is important.
Yes.
What they will do is probably repeat the self-breast examination with their hand. It's called clinical breast examination. They may do that, and or also ask you to do the health test that I talked about, right?
Yes.
Which is what is the objective way of doing. These are only just just hand-based examinations, just to make sure that we have some awareness.
Yeah. So to give an example, like fever, we touch with our hand and check if the child or somebody is having a fever, but thermometer is the one which gives the reading.
Very nicely said. Exactly, Krishna.
Right?
That's exactly how to think about
wonderful.
it. Right?
So when you come to this test part, often the doctors talk about mammograms, right? And at this point, listeners, I don't want you to switch off the podcast because we are aware of so much of feelings against mammogram. Anybody who has gone through mammograms, yes, it is painful and sometimes it is extremely humiliating as well. At least that is my own feeling. I have sometimes tried to, I know it is wrong to say that in this kind of a episode where the focus is on awareness, but the fact that I have to undergo mammogram has made me postpone my health checkups. Okay, let me admit, because mammogram is painful, and most of us as women, when we talk about things for checkup, etc., we all curse mammogram. Because you have to put your breast inside some device and it presses and whatnot.
Yeah, and somebody else is touching, pulling it in, right? So that is a problem. Many people have complained this way, what you mentioned, Krishna.
It is very odd to go through that. It may have its own advantages or whatever. And worse is, I have undergone a mammogram where it came out with some whatever Birat's category or whatever it is called. And they said that's not very clear. You should undergo a mammogram again. And at that time, the doctor was saying, no, don't go for it. Mammogram itself has some side effects, kind of. I do not know how true these things are, but maybe this is the time when you can tell us about why not mammogram and what is different about the findings that you have done.
Sure. So let me first admit, a mammogram is actually, yes, the only completely approved, world over approved method of detecting breast cancer early, almost like 6 millimeters and so on, 5 to 6 millimeters. It is able to detect called microcalcifications.
Okay.
However, there are issues. What issues, as you mentioned, Krishna? One is it is extremely painful, and some people bear it, some people are not able to bear it. And also, somebody touching the breast, putting it between two plates, and about 10 kgs of weight being applied. I mean, it's a very cumbersome test, right? So those two things definitely remain. And the third bit is also about radiation. It uses X-rays to detect small lumps or calcifications. And so you cannot repeat the test, as you also mentioned, your doctor, has advised correctly. So you cannot repeat the test more than once in 2 years. That is, if I take the test today, it is 2020, the next test with mammogram, I can only take in 2022.
Yeah.
What that means is I can get cancer in between and I will not be able to use a test, right? Second aspect is if I say no, I want to take this every year, and I take this test 5 to 6 years continuously, then my risk to cancer doubles.
The test itself is increasing my risk.
Yes, this is a study that is done by Stanford. Of course, now there is a lot of research going on to reduce this and so on and so forth. There is work going on there as well. Having said that, this is an issue. Major problem with mammography is that it does not work on all women.
Oh,
It does
okay.
not work on women under 45 years of age. And if you see, right, all mammogram tests, any country, they suggest only women above 40 or 45 years of age to go for this test.
Oh, okay. I didn't
It
know that.
means
Yeah.
it doesn't mean like only those women can get breast cancer. In fact, in India, 50% of the ladies are under 50 years when they get breast cancer.
Okay.
Like my cousin sister, right?
Hmm.
So these people cannot use mammography because what is called as a dense breast issue. So this dense breast issue is just a feature of the person, right? We are fat, we are thin, we have stiff muscles. All this, it's very normal.
Right.
Having said that, a dense breast basically means a lot of fibroglandular tissue in the breast. When you put it under a microscope, under an X-ray of a mammogram, it comes out, the whole breast appears white. And in an X-ray, we are looking for hard stuff which is white. Like we take an X-ray of our hand,
Yeah.
the skeleton will appear white. Exactly, right? The small lumps or anything will appear white. Now, if a person has full white breast because it's dense breast, there's no way to find any small cancers here. So it does not even work for women under 45 years of age. It does not also work on many women above 45 who have dense breasts.
Okay.
This is a limitation, right? And unfortunately, dense breast is high risk for breast cancer. That means these women need to go for breast cancer screening as often, like 1 year or so, every 1 year. So this is all the dichotomy and so many ironic situations. We are talking about breast cancer is curable, but we are losing so many women. Mammography is great, but it can cause cancer. Mammography does not work on dense breast, but dense breast is high risk for breast cancer. All of these are, really two twin facts which don't go together at all.
Correct.
So what it just tells you, and what it told me when my cousin sister got breast cancer, is that you definitely need something else in this space, right? And that is when I started the research, and we came up with this new test by Niramai.
Okay.
So just to expand on what this test is, so Niramai is the startup that has developed this test, and I'm happy to be the head of the organization. We have a wonderful team. We've all worked together. It's a teamwork. So here what we do is we just measure the temperature variations on the chest.
Okay.
Using a thermal sensor. So it's like a thermometer, but it is a very high sensitive thermometer, high resolution thermometer. What do we mean by high resolution? When we use a thermometer, we get one temperature point, 99 or 98.700, whatever, one number. You keep it in your mouth or armpit, right?
Yes.
Now, this thermal sensor is like some sensor which you're placing almost like a camera. It's not a camera. It just, is placed on a tripod in front of the person. And if you take a click on the sensor, it measures 400,000 temperature points on the chest area.
Before we get into what it does, so in terms of me as a person undergoing the test, would it be something like for ECG and all, some kind of a thing is kept on my chest, something similar, or is it something?
Yeah, it's even better. It's like a small device, like half a liter water bottle kept on the tripod, like a small stand. It is not even touching you. It is kept 3 feet from you. In ECG device, it's actually touching your body, right? There's no touch, right? You just keep it 3 feet from. You just have to sit in front of the device on a chair with your hands up, and the technician will tell you how to do that. And we will ask you to turn left and right. That's it. So totally you sit in front of this device for 10 minutes and you come out. The report will be ready.
So maybe what we will also do is, as part of the notes for this, show notes for this episode, maybe we will put, apart from the link to the website, maybe a picture of, how this happens, maybe the device or a sketch of it. Yeah. So it would be helpful.
Not even a technician is inside. Obviously, you have to remove the clothes on top, but it's a changing room experience. You just go in, close the screen, close the door, remove the top, sit in front of this device for 10 minutes, and you come out. The technician is giving instructions from outside. Nobody is seeing you. Nobody is touching you. There is no pain, no compression, and obviously no radiation also, because it is just a temperature-based analysis.
Then why am I not reading you in the paper?
No, we have been covered. We have been covered in more than 500 news articles in just last 2 years, last year itself, right?
You know what my take on this is,
Yeah.
because it is to do with women. Maybe somewhere it is in the inner pages.
Yeah. And it's mostly coming in as innovation rather than awareness to women,
Right,
which is
right.
what we are trying to do now. Thanks
Hmm.
to you for, featuring us. It's going to help a lot of women. It's a very simple test. And now it's actually available in 15 cities in India. And we have recently partnered with Apollo Clinic. So it's available in every Apollo clinic also in
Okay.
these
See,
cities.
for example, for mammogram, typically my knowledge is that one goes with a doctor's recommendation that you get mammogram done. Okay. Or
Yeah,
you ask for a full checkup, then it is included as part of the checkup. Now,
right.
when you talk about these clinics, I, as a person, if I want to get this test done, do I go and ask just like that in any Apollo clinic? What do I ask for? And is there a prescription required?
No prescription is required, and we are just spreading the awareness even among doctors. Many doctors know about this. Best way is to come to our website niramai.com and register for screening. You can say, I am in this city, this is my pin code, tell me what is the nearest place, and our
Okay.
team will call you and tell you. Or you can go to an Apollo clinic, or if you already know where it is available in your particular city, you can go and ask for Niramai breast health or thermalytics test or
Okay.
thermal mammogram. People call this from multiple views, but it's basically when you say Niramai test, they know it.
Okay.
A thermal test, they will also know it.
Wonderful. So you were talking about it basically tries to assess the temperature, and based on that, it is able to figure out whether there is any kind of a growth inside.
Right. It's just measuring the temperature on the skin itself, actually. And then, because we've developed a very intelligent software to
Huh.
analyze these temperature variations, I told you, right, there are 4 lakh temperature points per person. It's a
Hmm.
lot of data. Using this, we can do the analysis to figure out where is there some abnormal activity happening. And
Okay.
just to give you an idea, the sensitivity, the precision with which the temperature is measured is 0.02 degrees Celsius. Kind of a difference next to each other, 400,000 such points, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a lot of data without hurting the person, without any radiation. And this data we use because wherever there is an abnormality, there is higher activity in that region, there is more blood flow in that region, and there will be a certain type of heat pattern that will emerge there,
Hmm.
which is unique for different people, but we have actually modeled about 115 such patterns. And all of this put together, mathematical model is what is going to give you the number. It looks like what? How can maths do it? How can computer science do this? That's why we've also evaluated
Hmm.
where some other very, very reputed doctors have tested this solution, asked people to go through our test, and then without telling us the result, they have made them go through mammography, sonomammography, that is ultrasound,
Yeah.
biopsy, and all of this, and they've tested it. And they've
Okay.
published in international journals to show that, yes, this test actually works.
It works. It is reliable.
It is reliable with
Yeah.
100% sensitivity, means ability to catch cancer. And maybe 5 to 6% of people, it may not be cancer at all, but we may say you require a follow up test. But
Okay.
that's perfectly fine, because only when you require a follow up, as in like when you have to go to a doctor, do a sonomammography, we will ask you to do it. And it's in your best interest to do it, because sometimes it can be an infection inside. Many times it may not be cancer also, right?
Yeah.
Because even other, like one of the persons got tuberculosis in the breast. It was very
Oh, okay.
astonishing infection and what's called as fibroadenoma. There are several of these sort of abnormalities that require attention. So all of those is something that we attempt to catch in this.
Wonderful. So, if I connect to what you were telling earlier, so this test can be done for any age group and also
Yes.
for women with high density that you were talking about, right?
Correct. This test can be done from any age above 18 years of age. Of course, we found a 17-year-old who was cancerous. We had to do that test because her mother also had cancer. So
Okay.
there is family cancer history that matters as well. So 18 years to 80 to 90 years, people have taken the test in our camps or corporate camps or rural camps or in our hospitals as well.
Hmm.
And we recently, Krishna, we have started home screening. So if you come in and say, I don't want to go to a hospital because this is COVID times and I don't want to sort of, get in contact with any other COVID patients who are walking around, you can just
Right.
say, I want it at home. So our team will come, two girls only will come in. They will not see you, it's no touch, no see. And then we will set it up in your own room and do the
No, that
test.
that is amazing. That means what you're saying is it does not require some kind of a hospital kind of setup. So just like let us assume there is an apartment in the
Yeah.
common area, you can arrange a blood donation camp. Okay, which
Yes.
doesn't require always blood donation doesn't mean you have to go to the hospital all the time. So
Right.
you can
Right.
arrange something like that. Similarly, maybe an apartment group can come together and organize a screening for all the women, correct?
Yes, absolutely. We have done
Oh,
many
that's
camps in
nice.
apartment complexes, like all of
Uh-huh.
these are very, very big apartments. We have done these tests, and women are very happy. Initially, they'll say they're very skeptical. They'll say, "Oh, how is this test?" A couple of people do it, and they just go and get all of their friends because unless you see it, unless you take it, you
Yeah.
won't believe how simple it is actually.
Yeah. Now, when you do this test, this result will come as some kind of a report, right?
Yes, so we
So,
get a report, detailed
huh.
report, and it goes to a doctor because we want a doctor to review it as well, just to make sure
Right.
that we are doing the right thing for you. And the report will be emailed or sent on WhatsApp to you within a
Yeah.
day.
So here, my question is: so this report from Niramai, if I take it
Yeah,
to my doctor, because
yeah.
this is a new kind of test, so they would be able to interpret and understand this report, right? Or is it that it has to be brought only to Niramai doctors or something like that?
No, no, it will be a signed report by a radiologist. The observations or impressions at the end will be understandable by any doctor. Having
Okay.
said that, as you also mentioned, it's a new test, and different doctors have different level of understanding about new tests, right? Are comfort about new tests. So they may say,
Correct.
okay, I don't know that, and then you can feel free to connect us with the doctor, and we'll explain. Having said that, there are many doctors, hundreds of doctors who have accepted this test. And what we say is a follow up. It says do a breast ultrasound. So you could go there and then show this is what it says. Can you do a test like that?
No, that is only if this test has a follow up recommendation.
Most in 100 people, maybe less than 10 people will have such a thing, right? A follow up requirement.
Okay.
But it's very important to be to know whether you are in that 10 or you're in that 90. I think that's
Absolutely.
very, very important.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
Maybe so the suggested mechanism, if I were to go through whatever we discussed until now, is on a monthly basis, it is very important for us to do the self examination.
Right.
And then it is best for us at least once a year to get this kind of a test done.
Yes, exactly. And you can watch your scores.
Okay.
Whether you have been advised to follow up or not, you can look at the scores, right?
True. So we are better prepared.
Yes, that is the main thing, right? And
Yeah.
it's a very simple procedure. Just spending your 15 minutes of your time on this can save 15, 20 years of your life.
Correct.
That important it is, basically.
Yeah, I was reading up about Nirama in preparation for this recording, and I came up some mention about the fact that one is each one of us getting tested. The other is, which is also interesting because many of our women listeners may be entrepreneurs, they may be running small businesses themselves. So maybe
Okay.
there is a possibility of setting it up in their premise and conducting it as a test, which is normally so always tests are something we associate with clinics and hospitals. So
Yeah.
let's assume one of the listeners is a beautician. So are you
Yeah.
saying they can set it up for testing
Yeah.
in the beauty
Yeah.
parlor itself?
Yeah. Thanks for bringing this point, Krishna, because yes, because we support home screening, what we call as nano entrepreneurs. These are small entrepreneurs who are everywhere, like a beautician, as you said, or just as a housewife, she has some extra time in the afternoon, maybe a weekend. What we tell them is like, if you're especially in a town, tier 2, tier 3 town, or you can just say, I will provide, my test in my town for this particular geography. And any home screening request that comes in that geography, we will actually direct it to you. And you can go, you can have a technician with you, or you yourself can do it.
Which
right?
means you will be trained to do it.
We will be training. We have web-based training. It just takes about 2 days to get trained on this.
And you do not need any separate qualification for that.
All you need to know is a little bit of computers. Let's say if you can do Facebook, that's it. And we have a certification course. You get a certification for level 1 certification, level 2 or level 3 certification. So these 3 certifications, even with level 1 certification, you can start providing the service, because then we will have level 2, level 3 support from our Niramai side. From remotely, we will provide the level 2, level 3 support for the screening. Once you become certified level 1, you can provide home screening. And as you said, you can also provide a nearby test in your own clinic or setup that you would have. All you need is maybe a small space, 4x4 kind of a small space, where you can actually close the door or put a curtain or something. So there is some kind of a privacy coming in. And you don't have to provide this every day also. You can say, I will provide only Mondays. Mondays in my beauty parlor,
Correct.
I will have breast screening. So then your customers will know when to come to you for this or take an appointment, because this is not an emergency, as in of course, if there is a lump or discharge, you have to go. Still, it's not an emergency that it has to be in a number of hours. You can take a couple of days also, right? Main thing is to reach out to women around you, be it family, friends, or just neighbors, and then tell them about 2 things. One is self-breast examination. 2, breast health test every year.
The last part we discussed, I want to reiterate for the benefit of listeners who may have got little confused about the level 1, level 2, level 3, etc. that she explained. If you are someone who has some amount of spare time, you want to do something, this is an opportunity for you, wherein you can earn a bit by getting certified in this Niramai method of screening. And you can conduct it. If you have a boutique or if you have a beauty parlor, you don't already have a business, but you can get in touch with Niramai and look at how you can conduct screenings in your area. And what she's saying is, if someone reaches out to them saying, where do I get the screening done, they can refer you. Right. Niramai team will train you. So you don't need to have a qualification already. You need not think, I do not know medicine, I do not know this, that, nothing. You if you are interested, please get in touch with this.
And there is no, upfront payment or anything that you need to do also. You're just serving people. Think about the opportunity that you will get to actually save many lives.
Yes, wonderful. Thank you for helping to increase awareness about this very important topic. I hope many of our listeners, definitely I'm interested in doing this test myself. I hope many of our listeners are interested in doing this test, as well as I hope this awareness bit helps in terms of how they want to care about their breast on an ongoing basis.
Thank you very much.
Is there some other message also that you would like to share with our listeners, Geeta?
I would like to say that all ladies who are listening, please take care of your health. Do at least some kind of an exercise, physical exercise, could be yoga, could be walking for 20 minutes every day. Spend the 20 minutes every day so that you can be healthy and your family will be happy and healthy as well.
With that message, we wind up this episode.
Thank you so much.
Do visit my website, thenewindianwoman.com, for related blogs on this topic. Of course, I would love to hear from you. You could rate or leave a comment in your podcast app or write to me at krishna@thenewindianwoman.com. Remember, you are what you want to be, and the time starts now.